everybody out there in YouTube land. Jake, the one-man band, is back again. Welcome once again to RWBY Ace Attorney. Alrighty, we're listening to Adam's second testimony of the night. The sword was borrowed from a friend of mine, a mutual friend who also liked swords. The borrowed blade is nearly a match in size and shape to my own blade. I had the blade on me when I was at the crime scene. I know that much. However, when I was apprehended by the police, the sword was already gone. As in it was taken! The blade must have fallen out of my sheath along the way. What a convenient story in order to have a different blade on you that night. I speak nothing but the truth. I speak the truth, and only the truth. I point at you. It's up to you to poke out a contradiction if you see one. If you can find any, that is.
Very well. The prosecution may begin their cross-examination.
Alrighty, guys. We're starting off the episode with a cross-examination. Thank you, Your Honor. This spare sword of yours has to be a fake. Has to be fake. I'll slice your testimony in half! Because we're talking about swords! So it's funny! Cross-examination. The spare sword. Alrighty. First of all, I want to take a look at his sheath. See if there's anything weird about it. No. Okay. The sword was borrowed from a colleague of mine. Hold it! What do you mean by colleague? A friend just lent you their sword? Yes. I do have some contacts. I gotta have some contacts. It was a sword meant to be borrowed and returned. It's a shame it's been lost. That's very irresponsible of you. You should be ashamed of yourself. Borrowing something and then losing it? Like a jerk. Try not to badger my client, even if you're joking. I can tell. I guess I still need to work on my timing with the occasional jokes. Yeah, Weiss, you gotta be more like me and know how to deliver jokes well. I deliver jokes well, right? Please tell me I deliver jokes well. It's all I have. Okay, let's just continue on with the story, shall we? Wait, how come Blake can joke occasionally and I can't? How unfair. That's because she's Blake. She's a cat. Cats are always funny. So can you give the court more details about the sword you borrowed? Indeed I can. The borrowed blade is nearly a match in size to my own blade. Hold it! Is that so? And how come that's important? So that I would not need to replace my sheath to fit the blade. The blade I borrowed is a very similar make to my own. I need to use the same type of blade to match my fighting style. That is true. If you start to mix things up, you gotta adjust to your weapon. You gotta adjust to it. It allows me to fight much more effectively, or efficiently. Both, actually. Well, I suppose that makes sense. I still find it weird not to replace the sheath, though. Well, that's because the sheath is cool. He's the sword master, though, not me. Still, though, I feel like there's some hidden passion under there he wants to reveal. You got a thing for swords, Adam? You got a sword fetish, is that it? He just wants to tell the court all about fighting style and techniques. You look lost in thought. Were you going to say something else? Oh, no, I was not. Continue your testimony then, please. I had the blade on me when I was at the crime scene. I know that much. Hold it! What do you mean by you knew you had it? You're certain you never dropped it or even had it? As if you had a different sword instead? Like the murder weapon? Perhaps? I'll ask you not to make insinuations without proof, Weiss. I guess a trial with Blake means getting cut off. More blade puns! It makes building up a grandiose argument extremely difficult. I can assure you, I I did, in fact, have the blade on me at the time. However, when I was apprehended by police, the sword was already gone. Alrighty, what do you mean by that? And you only noticed this once you reached the police? Indeed, it didn't take long for them to catch me. Really? You're a terrible vigilante if you get caught that fast. Not long after I bumped into the girl, the witness, Neo. There it is! I was surrounded by the police. I checked my sheath to find the sword was missing. Are you implying that you were going to fight your way out of the police? So much for not harming officers. Not exactly. If I could, I was ready to knock them out for my escape. You really thought you could escape police at gunpoint with a sword? Yeah. Yeah. Why not? In certain circumstances, yes. At close quarters combat, sword will beat gun. I guarantee you that. Let's not bring up fighting techniques now. Let's just continue to point of this testimony. I guess it would be a waste of time. Alrighty then. So, about the sword then. The blade must have fallen out of my sheath along the way. Hold it! How does one just lose a sword like that? I mean, it's meant to stay in its sheath. I am not certain. This has never occurred for me before. I doubt I lost it when I ran into Miss Neo. My senses would have reacted if she had made a move. And she seems so clumsy and kind to commit such a deed. Maybe that's just her clever ruse, lulling you into a false sense of security. And yet your senses didn't pick up when it fell anyways. 'Tis strange indeed. He's just making this up as he goes along, isn't he? It seems though your lies, I see through your lies, samurai. I will defeat you. You would bring dishonor to your family. Much dishonor to your family. Sometimes I wish I could request a co-counsel. Trying to banter with myself isn't as calming as having a partner. Are my headphones on wrong? Yes, they are. I could tell because they had a weird feel to them. I'm sorry about that. What can I say to prove that his sword doesn't exist, though? There's something that happened that he mentioned that shouldn't have happened. I just have to go out and provide some doubt. Okay, now it's time to look at the evidence. Okay, the sheath meant to hold Adam's sword. It is meant to fit his blade snugly and perfectly. The blade doesn't even shift in the sheath. And here's the murder weapon. Trace of the victim's blood on it. The weapon was found in a ditch within the crime scene area. The hilt of the sword is missing. Let's check the crime scene photos. Let's see if we can discern anything from it. So there's the victim. Okay, that's how everything happened. Alrighty. And the murder weapon was found in the ditch, correct? Yes, the ditch within the crime scene area. The white Fang symbol. Okay. I'm just gonna take a look at everything. Adam was not holding a sword in his hand when fleeing! Ah-ha-ha! Ah-ha-ha! Ah-ha-ha-ha! This is it, okay. What if we present this? Present! Objection! Need I even say it? This evidence is proof enough. You've lost your touch. Okay, this didn't work. Okay, did it mean I just didn't do it in the right area? Think before you speak. I'll get a penalty. Yeah, whatever. The sword I borrowed was from a colleague of mine. Borrowed the blade. I had the blade on me when I was at the crime scene. I know that much. Okay, now we present it here. Objection! Oh, come on! How did that not work? I thought for sure that was gonna be. However, this was already gone. Okay, let's try to present it one more time. No, that didn't work either. Okay, dang, man. What if we What if we present his sheath? Because it's supposed to fit the blade snugly and perfectly, and the blade doesn't even shift in the sheath. So let's present this. Objection! You said earlier that your sword sheath matched your blade size and shape perfectly, correct? Nearly perfectly, yes. It fit snug in my sheath the whole time. I think I know where you're going with this. And that's exactly the thing! Your sword sheath! It is the perfect match for even the new blade you were talking about. You just said so yourself right now. It fits snug in my sheath the whole time.
What are you implying by this, Miss Schnee?
What I'm implying is that the sword was that snug, it shouldn't have even fallen out of the sheath. Then it should not have been lost on the way from the crime scene to his capture. Now, need I also remind the court that I need a drink of water? That we did not find any other swords in the area either. That means that it never was a spare sword at all. This was all made up to mislead us into believing he didn't have his real sword on him. Yeah! Discord, yes! Talks amongst yourselves. Oh, Blake threw an objection at us. Your evidence isn't even entirely concrete. First of all, not every sword is perfectly snug inside a sheath. Some swords may be looser, especially if that sword is in a different, is in a sheath made for a different sword. There may have been some faults in the sword he borrowed. That means it's likely the sword could have been looser inside the sheath. Yeah, but that's the reason he kept the sheath, is because the sword fit in it so well. Even if it was snug. Oh, she slammed the desk. She means business. It's entirely possible when he bumped into Miss Neo, the blade was jolted enough to fall out later on. How do you even know so much about swords anyway? You got a sword fetish, Blake? What is Blake? Some sort of sword guru? How does she know all this stuff? Research and kendo classes. She knows kendo! Hwah! She'll get you. She'll take you out. Well, in any case, how do you explain why we found no sword in the area if it fell out? According to the map, there is a drainage pipe not too far along the path. It's entirely possible it went down there. The sword could end up at the end of any pipe, so it would take us forever to search. Ugh. I should have seen this one coming. Dang it, Blake! Coming up with circumstances. That's a remote possibility, but it remains thus remote and small. Nonetheless, it is a possibility.
Miss Belladonna brings up a fair point. Not foolproof, but enough for me not to veer towards a verdict yet.
Hold on a moment. Could the same claim lie to the discarded jacket that we mentioned in earlier episodes? Remember that it was stated Adam could potentially have blood on his jacket from killing the victim. Could he not have had a spare jacket if it fell into the grate as well? The likelihood of the jacket making it through the grate, the pipe, is significantly smaller. Why? The grates themselves could barely fit in the sword, but for a jacket to go inside? It would be practically impossible. Well, how so? I want to see this grate. I don't know what kind of grate it is, but I need to see it so I can discern for myself. Blast! Damn you, Blake! I didn't think it would be this difficult to go up against you. Now, I want this question answered. So far, the prosecution has tried to blame my client's guilt based on circumstance. That he happened to be in the park at the same time as the victim. But there's no motive for my client to do it. As it stated earlier, my client is a vigilante who works to help clean up the streets. He has never targeted law enforcement. He would have absolutely no reason to target the victim at all. But a vigilante is someone who works outside the law enforcement. Technically, the police and detectives would be going after him. Maybe Adam was spotted by the detective, and Adam had to go too far. By stabbing the detective through the back? That sounds premeditated, not coincidental. Huh. There must be a link somehow. Maybe if I knew more about what Adam does exactly. Your Honor, I would like Adam to testify what he does in his profession. What does the vigilante truly do? I believe my client already spoke about that earlier in the trial.
Miss Belladonna is correct. Wouldn't we be treading over the same thing again?
Oh, Your Honor, this is the courtroom. That's all we do is tread over the same stuff, over and over and over again. Well, I want him to talk about it again, in more detail this time. I would like to know more about his life as a vigilante. Like, if he really does work as a lone wolf, like the tabloids say.
What are you hoping to find from his testimony, Miss Schnee?
In order to understand Adam more, we should know more detail about how he conducts his duties. Right now, we're at an impasse. Adam is the main suspect, but we don't know what he truly does. Or who he really is. All we have is newspaper and tabloids. I believe this will at least give the court more information to make a proper verdict. And hopefully find something I can use against him if he slips up.
I guess you're right about that. Please testify about your occupation in more detail, Sir Adam.
Very well. I will reveal to you more about what I do as a vigilante. My testimony shall cut clear any doubt you have. Sword quips, sword jokes, sword puns. I love them. So great. Woo! Another witness testimony! Adam the Vigilante. I'm a lone wolf. I'm not affiliated with anyone. I do have some contacts for tips and weapons occasionally, but nothing more than that. I try to clean up the streets of criminal scum because the police aren't enough to do the job. My duty is not to kill, even criminals. I leave the police to lock them up. I have no reason to kill Detective Ozpin. I help law enforcement. I don't target them.
Vigilant as ever, Sir Adam.
As you can see, Adam is a positive force in our city. Despite not working directly with law enforcement. Hey, more trouble with the previous recording. I apologize. Hopefully, I did a little tweaking. Hopefully, it will run through to the end perfectly. Let's keep going. I've already shown how most tabloids and many officers approve of his presence. I had to make the text typing go instantly. I wanted to see if that changed it. I don't think there will be any even a need for a cross-examination. I completely disagree with that. I have a right to a cross-examination still. Just where did she learn her court conduct exactly? Frickin' Blake.
It would be unfair not to give Miss Schnee her proper cross-examination. But you do have a good point nonetheless, Miss Belladonna.
Could there just be any more sway to Blake's side? I'm here too, Judge. Notice me, senpai. I better put some doubt in the judge's mind soon, or the trial's going to end quickly. May I proceed with my cross-examination, Your Honor?
Indeed you may, Miss Schnee.
Alrighty. Adam the Vigilante, cross-examination. Alrighty. Now, since I have played this part before, I already know what it is. But the first time I played it, I already technically knew what it is too. He's saying right here that he's a lone wolf and not affiliated with anyone. But you see, this white Fang symbol was found at the crime scene. And who was carrying it? Well, I think he was. So we're gonna present it. Objection! Objection! Not a lone wolf. I don't know about that. Sure, you seem to look and act the part. But what do you have to say about this? Ellipses. I think we got him.
Miss Schnee, what might be that? What might that be?
Please, Your Honor, please do keep up with the news more often.
I can't see it from here, Miss Schnee. Jeez, I don't even have my reading glasses on.
My apologies. Well, here's a closer look.
Ah, this is a symbol of something.
Oh, bother, I guess we need... not everyone could recognize it. This is a symbol of the White Fang, Your Honor. This was found on the path west of the crime scene. And what does Adam have to do with an emblem of the White Fang? That could have belonged to anyone who went into the park earlier. And that's where you're wrong! There's something on this emblem that shows that it belongs to Adam.
And why might that be, Miss Schnee? What about that White Fang symbol shows that it belongs to Adam?
Right there. The little tuft of torn fabric that was worn by Neo! Take that! Notice here that the symbol is a bit bent, and there's pink fabric stuck onto it.
Yes, that is quite noticeable indeed.
Well, as you recall, Adam was running along the west path. Miss Neo was also running down that path. The two of them collided with a heavy impact, which resulted in this torn fabric.
Of course. It all makes sense now.
I see you're getting it now, Your Honor. When they collided, Adam had this symbol on his person, which took the brunt of the impact when he ran into Miss Neo. It became bent and even got a bit of the fabric stuck into it. Therefore, the scenario proves that the symbol belongs to Adam. Ellipses. You said you spoke only the truth, Adam. Admit it. This belongs to you. Triple ellipses. Oh, we got him now, guys. Fine. You win, prosecutor. That does belong to me. I am a part of the White Fang. I'm pretty sure a part needs to be two separate words there, but yeah, whatever.
Is that true?
You do know that the White Fang is, right, Your Honor?
I believe I heard about them in the news. Refresh my memory. A bit, though, please. For I do not truly know what they are.
The White Fang is a group of individuals that are all faunus. So faunus do exist in this RWBY Ace Attorney world.
And what is this faunus term exactly?
How to explain this? It's a genetic modification that occurs in many humans. Essentially, what happens is people's DNA is modified and, in the process, may gain parts of animals.
Parts of animals? Explain, please. I am more confused than ever.
Essentially, a faunus is someone who has some animal DNA in them. It's a relatively new disease, one that's caught a lot of people. I didn't know diseases actually went out and caught people. I thought people caught diseases. And being a faunus, that's a disease? It's something you catch? Hard to think that a disease would change genetic makeup, but I guess whatever. It can also give them the features of an animal, like a tail or ears, in rare circumstances. Researchers are still trying to find the cause of the disease and how it manifests. Oh, she slammed a desk. She mean business. It's not a disease. It's simply a different condition in the human body. Disease and condition can just be the same thing, you know. It's just a synonym. Weiss isn't wrong. What's got her in such a fit? It's because she's a kitty cat. She's a kitty cat faunus, Weiss. We'll figure that out soon.
Please, this arguing is making me even more confused. Let me get this straight. Faunuses are humans with animal parts?
I suppose, simply put, yes. Exactly like that. Now, back to the White Fang. I'm sure you've heard the tabloids.
Yes, the White Fang have been causing all sorts of ruckus in the city.
It's a group that was founded because people with the faunus infection have been mistreated, discrimination, at its worst. Many people call them freaks, and bullying is rampant. It might even be why there's a high crime rate in the city now. The White Fang try to demonstrate and fight for their rights for the faunus. However, so far, many of their demonstrations have been rioting and violence. Not the way to go, people. Take a letter from Martin Luther King. Do it peacefully. That gets to people more. And since you just admitted to being a part of the White Fang, Adam, you've been lying about being unaffiliated. You're a faunus who's out to cause trouble with the rest of the White Fang, aren't you? Right? Oh, everybody's arguing.
Order in the court! Is this true, Sir Adam? Are you really a faunus?
Ellipses. Yes, it's true. But I am not ashamed of it at all! It's why I'm part of the White Fang! So what if he is a faunus? And what if he's part of the White Fang? Sure, they've done some violent acts, but there's been nothing overly serious. Not all of them are the same. They just want what's fair and just. And as shown, Adam seeks no ill towards non-faunus. Oh, slam the desk again. He's helped protect everyone from criminals. It doesn't matter who. Even though he appears to be a White Fang member, it doesn't mean that he targeted the detective. The White Fang isn't exactly a very organized organization. It seems like some members do different acts than others. Some are peaceful while others bear its name with violence. And Adam is a White Fang member who helps people, damn it!
Miss Belladonna brings up a good point.
Then why would he lie about being associated with the White Fang earlier? Because it's people like you that judge too quickly. Upon hearing I was with the White Fang, you immediately spoke only of their bad deeds, despite all the good that may come from the White Fang. Well, technically the tabloids and the newspapers have made them out to be bad, and they have done rioting and violent stuff. So, far be it from me to jump to a conclusion that seems to be the only conclusion there is. You may attempt to twist their reputation negatively.
You did do such a thing, Miss Schnee. And besides, he still has no connection to the victim. He has no reason to kill the detective.
I've made such a solid connection now. He still has to be hiding something. I know it! Think, Weiss. I have to connect the White Fang, Adam, and the detective together. But how? There's always a motivation. Motivation. Wait! White Fang did do something. Something that the victim may have been looking into. I think I can link the pieces together now. If I can form his motivation, things will be in my favor. Oh yeah, we got it now. With a two-hit witness testimony combo, it seemed that Weiss was starting to get the upper hand. But it seems that even though she has took a step forward, it was not a big one. Not enough to pull the verdict in her favor. But now this new revelation about Adam being part of the White Fang can truly bring him to his downfall. What does Weiss have in store? And what is she planning? Find out next time on Weiss Schnee, Ace Attorney.